Hi! Welcome to Tiny Games, where the gameplay is tiny and the mistakes are big. I'm playing Our Life again, and I had a bit of issues. I forgot to record some audio, so there's some voiceovers. Okay. I'll never get tired of that view. You stood beside your mums and Lizzie as the four of you watched the sun dip into the ocean somewhere far, far away. You like to imagine it cooling off in the water, resting itself before getting ready to shine brightly again tomorrow. That was a fun day. I didn't know they had magicians on the shopping street now. Neither did I. Oh no, we are so dull. Let's get out more. He didn't do real magic, Mum. How did you figure that one out?
Duh.
'Cause I know, that's not what real magic looks like. Oh, Lizzie dear, there's all kinds of magic in the world. Lizzie gave Mummy a suspicious look but didn't dispute the claim. Well, we can't sit out here all night. Time to hurry home and get cooking. Who's helping in with dinner? Lizzie immediately let out a groan. Mum, summer's almost over. The protest was obvious. You could practically see school on the horizon. You certainly didn't want to spend your last bits of freedom cooking dinner. You could do that any other day. Okay, our options are, please can we play just a little longer? We have to keep playing before it's too late. It is almost over. You put on your best puppy dog eyes. Lizzie may not want to, but you planned on going home. Mum looked down at Lizzie with a sigh as she continued pleading. We'll help with dinner tomorrow.
Please.
Soon we'll have homework and reading to do. We can't do work now, too. Lizzie made her case and then stomped her foot into the ground. Well.
No.
Oh, come on, Pam. I can help you with dinner. Mummy leaned in for a hug, and you knew that Lizzie was very close to victory.
Okay.
All right. But soon as dinner's ready, you lot are coming inside, understood? Yes, Mum. So much to do, so little time. Maybe I could still get the seashell bracelet at Tines and Trinkles. Ooh, or maybe the playground, or the fireflies will probably be coming out, right? Do I get any say in this? You silently made your own plans. We can't go too far. I'm going home. I think I wanted to go home. Oh, bye. I guess I spent a lot of time in this gameplay wanting to just get off the beach. You shut the door behind you, shivering lightly as you adjusted to the more pleasant temperature inside. Welcome home. Man, her eyes and grin together. Scary, scary. Okay. Hi, sweetie. Oh, Tiny, will you set the table? You'd been on your way to your room and you stared longingly in that direction as you considered the question. Mum hadn't said you had to help. Okay, what's in it for me? Do I have to? Lizzie isn't helping. You pretended you didn't hear. What's in it for me? You folded your arms over your chest, tilting your chin up. Mummy snorted.
Please.
Feeling glad that you helped your loving mothers out. I'm not sure about that. Mum narrowed her eyes at you before you realized it. She was upon you, caging you in her arms and tickling your sides. How about if you help you get dinner, Smarty Pants? You squirmed, giggling helplessly. There was no escaping her vice grip. You can't do this. I'm sorry, Uncle. Uncle. I'll do it. Who screams Uncle? That's so weird. You went limp. You knew from experience that there was no winning in a tickle fight against your mum. I'm gonna be honest, oh my gosh, those eyes. I still don't really know the difference between mum and mummy. I don't know which one's mummy, which one's mummy. I never remember. When Mum let you go, you stuck your tongue out at her. She stuck hers out as well. Seeing this, Mummy laughed. Honestly, Pam. Fight fire with fire. Huffing, you took the plates from Mummy and set up the table. A little after you were done, dinner was ready. It seemed like now that summer was winding down, time was speeding by. Lizzie talked about the busy schedule she'd made for herself tomorrow, and you watched the window and thought about how much you're going to miss the long, fun-filled days of sun and play. That night it was hard to sleep for some reason. You started blankly at the bits of dust and stuff floating in the air. You started blankly. Oh, you stared blankly. Okay. Yeah, I think I was confused with that first time around. Okay. Summer would be over soon. School would be starting up again. You couldn't help but feel excited, scared, glad, baffled, strange. You're gonna pick excited. Looking forward to seeing your friends again, meeting your new teachers. Sure, you wouldn't be able to leisurely scroll on the beach or run around outside all day, but learning was fun too. A different sort of fun. And it was all right around the corner. Oh, those are pretty. I didn't notice those before. Back to the menu so that we can change what our character looks like. But I'm just gonna like speed it up because even though I spent a long time like customizing, you don't actually see what you look like in this game. You get like a few descriptions, but you don't really see. Anyway, we had to choose our feelings at that stage for Cove, and I chose relaxed and fond because we were getting on a little bit better, I feel. Yeah. We also got to customize Cove though, so that was cool. You were supposed to be able to change his appearance and personality, but I don't know if I read it properly. I just didn't get it. I think I only changed his clothes. I'm not sure if we changed his personality. I can't believe I forgot to turn my mic on. I am distressed. Okay. Underneath the pink plaster ended up being a long thin scar that snaked across his forearm. Cove's chest puffed out in pride when someone drew attention to it. He also went through a major growth spurt. He was the tallest student in his class for 2 years in a row. Cove will probably hold that spot again next time. In class, people knew him for more than just being tall. He also stood out because of how well he did on tests and in other academic situations. Over the years, he began opening up more too. You saw him talking amicably with other kids or neighbors from time to time. And the only kid that came to visit the neighborhood when you were little, Shiloh, well, he was gone. Did he die? Oh, a bit anticlimactic here. He and his mum moved back south because of her work, just 1 year after Cove came to Sunset Bird. It had been really upsetting when he left. Lizzie was inconsolable for weeks, but nobody talked about Shiloh anymore. It was a long time ago. Why? That's so sad. What? You learned some heartbreaking things became less sad the further away they were, even if they had never gotten any better. That was sad in its own way. Yeah. Things at home were different too. You still lived in the same house and all that, but it wasn't how it was before. Ma dyed her hair purple, wanted something new, and liked it so much she kept dyeing it. You remember calling her mummy as a kid, but something like that seemed awkward nowadays. You were much too old for the word. Lizzie felt too mature for her nickname too. She insisted on everyone calling her Elizabeth, so you did. Your mum soon gave her permission to go places other than the playground and shopping street, which she took advantage of. You rarely saw her around the old neighborhood. In fact, she hardly spent time with you the way she did before. Elizabeth instead associated more and more with girls from school who were her own age. Maybe the difference between 13 and 15 was greater than the difference between 8 and 10. You started befriending new people yourself, like Derek Suarez. Is that how you say it? He didn't live in the neighborhood or go to the same school. What happened was his and Cove's dad struck up a business partnership a few months ago. Since then, Derek would pop up in the area now and then. It seemed Mr. Suarez was happy to let Derek tag along to his work if Derek had the time for it. Without a doubt, everyone and everything around you had changed in small and big ways. You had too. As time went by though, it was easy to settle into this new normal. Then before you knew it, school was over and summer vacation had come again. It was the first day of summer vacation. The sun was hot as ever, but you were inside and away from its harsh rays. That sounds like me in real life. I hate going outside. To be more specific, you were snuggled up in bed, celebrating your time off by sleeping in, wide awake, about to head out and enjoy your time off. Can't we be wide awake and still snuggled up in bed? What's that about? I guess we shall be snuggled up in bed. It was hot, but you still had the blanket up over your head to block out the sun. You didn't want it intruding on your lazy morning. Unfortunately, you hadn't prepared for an intrusion. From beneath the blanket, you heard the door creak open. You're still sleeping? Wow, get up. Rude. Go away, you sleep. You got up, you started to make fake snore loudly. This fake snore. You didn't get out of bed and instead made some obnoxiously loud and totally phony sleeping sounds. It was pretty annoying, but she had bothered you first. Oh, I just double clicked by mistake. What did it say? I don't know what it said. So much for a lazy morning. Mum told me to tell you that your friend's at the door. He brought some happy summer gift from Mr. Holden. Mum wants you to take it from him. Say thanks or whatever.
Come on.
Right there, okay, fine. It's great, I'm coming. Be there when there. Let's go collect the gift. Elizabeth said nothing else and left, having done what was instructed of her. You rolled out of bed, stretching your arms up high and yawning. Time to get ready. You sat yourself in front of the mirror in a far corner of the room. What are options? You reflected hardly. Your reflection hardly fit in the frame. You were very tall. Your reflection went over the whole length of the mirror. You were very tall. Reflection fit completely. I'm average height. I'm just average. Cove was really tall. Derek was kind of short, and you were pretty much the exact height that someone would expect for a 13-year-old. You liked your height, you weren't sure how to feel about it, you were kind of self-conscious of it. I'm average height, what is there to feel about it? You liked your height. It suited you well in your mind. Then you put the finishing touches in your outfit while ruminating on the situation. Careless as they had been, Elizabeth's word piqued your curiosity. You planned on going over to see what Cove was up to, so this worked in your favour. Your reflection grinned back at you. You were looking forward to seeing him. You left your room, taking an easy time down the stairs. Step 2, second chance. You spotted Mum first, reclining on the couch. She held a magazine in her hands, which she was perusing through. Morning, Mum. She looked up at your greeting, a smile instantly appearing on her face.
Thanks.
Good morning, Tiny. Thank you for coming down. You nodded and made your way to the front of the house. Just as she said, Ma was there making conversation. Why can't I read right now? There. She must have heard you because she looked over her shoulder.
Oh?
I'm confused. She the one that's supposed to have dyed her hair. What was her hair before? Oh wait, it was brown, right? Look who finally made it. Morning, sleepyhead. Ma reached forward and you knew she was about to pat you on the head. She was taller than average, so you were little in her eyes despite being a typical size for your own age. Why are we being so stuck on this size thing? This height thing? You let her do it, you happily let her do it, you tilted your body aside to dodge, you pushed her hand back and laughed, you pushed her hand back and ground. I love being patted on the head. That type of small affectionate exchange was nice. She placed the whole of her hand on top of your head for a second before lifting it back up. Ah, you're the last one down today, you know that? Life isn't a race. Morning, I was going to stay in longer, so you're welcome. Sorry about the wait. What do we get? Yes, thank you for gracing us all with your presence this fine day. With a small laugh, Ma stepped aside. Cove was just as you remembered, exactly how you came to know him to be. Oh God, is he sad again? The feelings are coming back. The memories of the last time I played this game is coming back. He leaned uncomfortably to the side in your doorway as the longer strands of his hair idly drifted with the breeze. Is that the hairstyle we chose for him? I swear it was like a spiky looking one. His features were pinched in embarrassment and he shifted from one foot to another. He was holding what must be the much talked about gift. At first glance, you figured it must be a bouquet of flowers. Then you gave it a real look. No, instead it was carefully cut fruit. It made a lot of sense that it was actually from Cove's dad. You had to suppress a laugh at this showing. You couldn't imagine many folks buying that sort of thing for their own personal enjoyment. That kind of arrangement was built for the presentation, likely to impress whoever was inevitably going to receive it. It seemed no matter how long he lived here, Mr. Holden would keep going out of his way to be neighbourly, and Cove would always be roped into participating. Cove smiled slightly at the sight of you. The sting of his goofy errand he was clearly embarrassed to be uneased. Hey, Tiny. You earnestly grinned back. It wasn't weird at all, like it used to be when you were kids. As time passed, the two of you started to enjoy each other's company. Now you actually considered him a good friend and not someone you were forced to be around by your families. Hey, it's really nice to see you. Yeah, you too. And you were certain he meant that agreement. It was already shaping up to be another long summer with plenty of time for the two of you to have fun together. His awkwardness over the task started to creep back in, so Cove nudged the gift closer to you. He wasn't ready to be relieved of it. And with that, the gift was accepted. I hope you and your family likes this. It's a pretty good gift. I think so anyway. He smiled earnestly. Dad spent a lot of time picking out the best size and design. There were so many options to choose from. Thanks. You're too cute sometimes. Thanks. Did you tell your dad we liked the gift? Yeah. Mr. Holden's behaviour really was different from any neighbour you'd ever had, though after 5 years you were used to his antics, and you'd since made up your mind on what your opinion was. He was nice, he was sort of funny, he was pretty weird, you didn't like him, he was great and kind of handsome to boot. Yeah, he's nice. You knew he wasn't completely perfect, but he always seemed to try so hard for the sake of others. Your thoughts were quickly interrupted by a shout. There you are! You shared a confused look with Cove. As both of you stepped through the open door onto the neighborhood street. I'm like stuck on his hair now. Whatever. It didn't take long to locate the source of the noise. You spotted Derek just a few yards down the road. He ran up to you. You were happy at the sight of him, you were confused at the sight of him, you were displeased. We like him, we like having new friends. Let's have new friends. Derek was certainly a welcome guest in your neighborhood. It was a pleasant surprise whenever he showed up. Aww. He's tiny. After stopping a couple steps away, Derek hunched over to catch his breath. Then he looked up with a wide grin.
Hey.
Hey, guy and gal. I was just at your house, Cove, but no one was there. Should have figured you'd be at Tiny's place. Do you ever spend time in your own home, or are you always just there? Derek laughed at his own joke. He either didn't notice that it embarrassed Cove, or the embarrassment was what he was actually laughing at. Derek turned to you. He was going to say more when his eyes widened and he gasped. What's that? You followed his gaze unsure. Then you realized what he meant. You were still holding Mr. Holden's gift. This? It's kind of like a bouquet of flowers, but made out of fruit. Nice. Can I have some? Sure, we can share. Oh wait, no, it's a gift for the family, isn't it? Sure, we can share. I haven't tried any yet. It's a gift. It's fruit. Come on, it's fruit. It's a gift for my family. I'll give it to you. Maybe you can listen later. Well, I think it's a gift for the family, so. Derek pouted at your words, not hiding his disappointment. Oh, okay. Then he nodded his head as if to clear it. Anyway, that's right. I came here because I need to say something big. He paused, possibly for effect. There's some other kid here in Sunset Bird. Cove was as surprised as you were by the news. Such a reaction made sense. No one around your age had moved here since Cove did 5 years ago. Were they with their family? Maybe they were cutting through. Nuh-uh, the new kid was all by himself just walking. Did you talk to him?
Nope.
Nope. I came to report the sighting right away. The kid had green hair, glasses, was pretty small, and seemed really upset about something. I hope he didn't leave. You blinked. Slowly, you looked over to your long-time neighbor. That sounds a lot like you, Cove. When you first got here, anyway. It kinda does, doesn't it? That's weird. He sounded almost fond, a small smile playing on his lips. Derek snickered good-naturedly. I can see that really well, now that you say so. But what'd you say? Let's go find Cove's look-alike. We should all meet him.
Sure.
I'll do it. Sure, I want to see who this person is. Derek grinned. Then he pointed down the street the way he came. Last time I saw him, the mystery visitor was going this direction. Nothing else needed to be said. The three of you were off with Derek leading the way. I wonder who this kid is. Derek brought you to the beach, and as a trio you made your way down the shore to the old playground. You walked a familiar path in a comfortable silence. When you were almost there, you spotted the kid in question. His bright colours almost shone like a beacon beneath the rays of the sun. He scuffled around, kicking up the sand as he paced. It was true, he certainly seemed upset. But you didn't think he was sad, like you had originally pictured. No, with his erratic movements and scrunched expression, he came off angry. You started to have doubts about this expedition. Maybe it'd be better if you left him alone and let him sort himself out. Derek didn't feel the same. He waved wildly, calling out to the boy. Hey guy, over here. Oh my gosh, that is not what I expected to see. He looks like those villains in in anime or something. The bowl cut. Okay. The kid whipped around, an impressive scowl carving deeper onto his face. His eyes were tired, but a strong hostile energy still radiated from him.
What?
What? What is it? What do you want? The sharp tone made Derek flinch. He shifted on his feet. What's your name? Jeremy. Was that it? No. No? I'm Derek. This is Tiny and Cove. We were just walking around and saw you. We wanted to say hi. There aren't a lot of kids our age in the neighborhood. Yeah, so it's cool to see someone else here. Strangely, Jeremy grew furious by the response. If steam could erupt from a person's ear, it would have happened then. They did bring me somewhere stupid. Of course, I knew it. What?
My parents.
My parents. They're the ones who brought me. I didn't walk to this town. Can you not figure that out on your own? Oh my gosh, she's like stereotyped. What a meanie.
Right.
Right, my dad brings me to Sunset Bird too, when he has to come for work and all that stuff. It's not bad. That earned him a glare from Jeremy. Derek winced beneath it, glancing away. It was a struggle to remain friendly with this Jeremy guy. I mean, I wouldn't want to come here for a real vacation, probably either. That's an understatement. This doesn't count as a vacation. It's a waste of time. A chore. Okay. Okay, Grumpy. Look how Cove is looking down on this kid. Okay. My parents' family is nearby, and we just had to come see them. Ugh. If they're your parents' family, doesn't that make them your family too?
I guess.
That's a pretty good reason to come by. Did you want to go somewhere else? No. Jeremy crossed his arms for half. He turned away. They should have gone by themselves, since they care so much, and left me home. But I'm not allowed to be by myself. Poof. It makes no sense. They're the ones who don't know how to do anything, and I'm the kid? I mean, what do you say to that? You kept quiet, you shouldn't talk to your parents like that. I mean, well, we don't really know the parents, so it must stop being forced to do something you don't want. Well, Oh, sorry, we just said hello. You don't have to keep complaining at us. Calm down. You don't have to yell so much. Who peed in your cereal this morning? Should we be passive about it? Do we care about Jeremy? I kind of want to see what his story is. That's what I want to see. I don't want to make a enemy out of this kid. As if that does anything. You turn to Cove, lowering your voice. The two of you aren't that similar after all. Jeremy must have had good hearing though, because he caught the private exchange and scoffed.
Stupid.
Of course we're not similar. My eyebrows aren't stupid. What a weird insult. Cove's cheeks flushed crimson at the insult. You couldn't be sure if it was out of embarrassment or anger, maybe both. Come on. What? No, Cove's wavy eyebrows are so cool. How can you say that when you've got a podcast? Don't listen to him. They're really unique and special. Well, they are kind of silly. I apologize for right now. I want to use the Vogue Cup one. No, but we wanted to be friends. We wanted to be friends with this kid. I have to. Maybe there'll be a time later on that we can make it up and be friends later. Yep, it's embarrassing and awful, but my parents make me. I won't have to have it when I'm older. Okay, he took it like a champ. I don't know what he's gonna do with those things except maybe shave them off. He probably should. I bet he'd look less dumb with no eyebrows. Why? Why is Jeremy bullying my boy Cove? Why is Jeremy bullying Cove? Okay, what are our options? You just rolled your eyes. You crossed your arms over your chest. You shook your head. You patted Cove on the shoulder. You lunged towards Jeremy. You grinned at all of this. Lunged towards Jeremy. Are we gonna beat up someone? Let's just okay, but if we pat Cove on the shoulder, is he gonna be like embarrassed and just be like mad at us for not having his back? I overthink. This is why I never play multiple choice games. The way how I'm overthinking all these options. Okay. Let's cross our arms over our chest. We mean business. We're getting really tired of this. Wow, what is wrong with you? Instead of taking offense, Jeremy only parroted Derek's words in a nasally voice.
Wow, what is wrong with you?
Wow. This is dumb. Wait, did we just become bullies? I don't want to be a bully. Jeremy stuck out his tongue and skulked away, throwing more sand everywhere as he went. You watched him go hunched over until he became a speck in your vision. Silence reigned in his wake. The three of you tried to process what just happened. I can't believe it. What a mean kid. Derek wasn't kidding, and by the sound of those earlier complaints, the new boy Jeremy was going to be in the area for at least a little while this summer. Derek sighed in dismay, plopping onto the ground. You followed, and Cove did too shortly after. There wasn't much else to do.
This sucks.
This sucks. I was hoping we could meet someone fun, hang out maybe. He shook his head. After a moment, he slowly turned to you with a hopeful expression. But you know what would really improve the day? What? He didn't respond. Instead, he used a hand to point right at the fruit arrangement that you were still holding. You'd completely forgotten about it during the mini drama that unfolded. You had gotten used to the wait. Glancing over the Cove, you noticed he was eyeing the fruit. He must want some too. I mean, like, if they're both gonna be like greedy beggars in front of me, I must feed them, surely. But it's not mine. The moral dilemma. Do I feed the hungry, the starved, my friends, or do I take it home? Even though we've had it in our hands for ages and we're walking around with it and it's fruit, carved fruit, which means it's drying out and getting nasty anyways. Okay, overthinking again. Let's just eat it. Derek perked up immediately at your words. He reached out for a skewer, hesitating slightly once he was inches away.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? I'm not really sure. You nodded with an eager grin. He plucked out a prime row of fruits. Cole grabbed one for himself after him. Only you were without a skewer of your own. Oh wait, so I just gave it all away and I don't even have anything to eat? Oh, I have to pick one, okay. You took a pineapple skewer, a grape one, strawberry or melon. Oh, well, melons and pineapples are the most hydrating. Let's choose melon. The melon was cut to look like a star. It was the obvious first choice. Derek ate a pineapple skewer enthusiastically, finishing it within moments. This is amazing. It's fruit, dude. It's not different than any other normal fruit. It's kind of worse. These have been out in the open with their skins off for a while. Cove, that was exactly my thought. Sheesh. Hey, you two remember the Land Before Time? That fruit thing makes me think of it. The dinosaurs all liked the leaves that were shaped like stars. The Land Before Time, oh my gosh. That movie's like 20 years old, I think. I watched it when I was a kid. Okay. Tree stars. Yeah. Chomping leaves look so delicious when they did it. And there was that scene with the pretty trees, and all the dinosaurs came in and picked everything off them till there was nothing. That's us right now. Awesome. Was it 30 years ago? Oh my gosh. I love that movie. I've never seen it. I didn't like that one. That movie's for kids. Eating leaves look good. Should I worry about you? Do you think things taste better when they're shaped like stars? I just skipped ahead. I don't know how. I think I clicked too many times. Okay. And there was that scene with the pretty trees and all the dinosaurs came in and picked everything off them till there was nothing. That's us right now. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. I wanted to select Ian Leafs. Look good. Okay, should I worry about you? He's snickered. That was so cute. Confusing just there. No, I'm not gonna do it for real, but I did pretend I was a long neck when I ate broccoli one time. The three of you continued like this for the next few minutes. Eventually the display was barren. It looked weird when devoid of fruit. Hey, we weren't supposed to eat all of it. It didn't help me feel better. Eating it all hadn't even made me feel better. It makes us feel better. Derek was right. It was so good you were already brightening up from the earlier drama. Hey, Tiny. Yeah? The two of you met eyes casually.
So,
That was pretty cool what you said back at that guy. What did he say? I already forgot. Oh, thanks. I was just saying what I thought. Oh, wait, the ball cut. Derek chimed in well in high spirits. You totally owned him. I don't know what his parents say, but it's good that at least somebody is around to tell him what's what. Yeah. Derek then leaned back on his arms and contemplated the sky with a content sigh. So, are you both ready for summer break? Yeah. Cool on you. I wish I could say the same. It feels like there's a lot to plan for. And what about you, Cove? Are you ready? Yes. Before you could say anything else, the light atmosphere was shattered. Hey, Tiny. You glanced over your shoulder to see your sister. She strode closer and closer, appearing none too pleased. Why is Lizzie always mad? If she ain't being bossy, she's mad. Like, what is that about? I've been looking all over for you. Miles said you and Cole ran off with the thing Mr. Holden bought for us. Oh, no, wait, we just ate it. She leaned over you with arms folded. So, where is it? Well, it's gone. What do you mean gone? You moved over to the side to face her completely. She zeroed in on the bouquet in your hands, which was now populated exclusively with skewers dripping in juice and tiny flecks of leftover fruit pieces. Her mouth dropped open and the tone of her voice rose.
What?
Seriously, Tiny? What were you thinking? It was supposed to be for all of us at home. She glanced at Cove, who sat beside you, and continued mockingly. Even if you did have an in with the delivery boy, this was up to Mr. Holden. Cove gave you a bent smile of support, which didn't help disprove her accusation. Sorry, Elizabeth, get over it. Well, the morning's been kind of a disaster. We were hungry. It wasn't us. Why lie? We were hungry. Elizabeth narrowed her eyes. Not at all okay with that kind of response. Oh no. I think I hear the mean kid coming back. You better get out of here. Elizabeth blinked confused and looked around.
What?
What kid? I don't see anyone. Derek didn't bother explaining. He just launched to his feet and ran off. Cove hopped up to you, gladly taking the opportunity to exit the situation. He followed after Derek, but he sent a look to you from over his shoulder. Okay, so they're both ditching me to get in trouble by myself. I see what kind of friends you are. You turned to watch Elizabeth. She stared back, brow raised. Let's run to. Without a word, you two got on your feet and bolted down the beach. Unimpressed, Elizabeth rolled her eyes.
So immature.
She shook her head as she walked towards the house, not bothering whatsoever to follow. Meanwhile, the three of you made it back to the shoreline. Derek pumped his fist, grinning in triumph. We escaped and shall live to see another day. Exactly what we should be living. Victory. You threw your arms up in celebration. You chuckled together, walking further down the beach side by side. You definitely wanted to stay outside a little while longer. You had gotten a bit of a scolding from your mums for not saving any of Mr. Holden's gift for Elizabeth, but you didn't get any real punishment for it. Instead, while you were out with the boys, Elizabeth returned home to share the news. The three of them went to get dessert on their own. It was declared even by your parents when everyone got back and the event was settled. That was a while ago now. Later that night, you found yourself seated near the kitchen counter. Ooh, someone gonna call us. Your fingers drummed on the surface as you waited, your gaze trained on the phone. Ooh, who's gonna call us? Is it Cove? You were waiting on a call tonight, specifically from your cousin Leandra. You didn't want to miss it accidentally. Ooh, your cousin Cole. Your uncle, aunt, and Lee used to live many hours away. Your families only saw each other a few times a year for big occasions. A while back, though, they moved and were closer to you than ever before. You now hung out regularly. With school being out, you're positive she's gonna wanna come over a lot. The two of you were the same age and got along well. She used to be really fond of Elizabeth, too, but now that your sister had become allergic to interacting with her own family, it tended to be just you and Lee who spent time together. Ooh, shade. She was your only friend who was a girl, or being family helped make you close, but you had a lot of girlfriends. Oh gosh. Let's have a lot of girlfriends, please. Let's not be the girl who can, I can only be friends with boys. I can't really be friends with girls. Let's not be that girl. You often gravitated towards other girls and befriended them pretty easily. I wonder if that's going to make a difference as we follow this story. Okay. You also had a lot of non-girlfriends. What does that mean? You didn't have many non-girlfriends. What are we talking about? We literally have, we've been friends with 3 boys so far. What kind of gender someone was didn't seem to make any difference in who you got along with. Of course not, why would it? Then the shrill ringtone announced an incoming call. You jumped before grabbing the receiver and pressing it to your ear. Lee finally heard that game residence. Hello. We're waiting for the cousins, so we know it's the cousin. Hi, sorry about the wait, Tiny. It took forever to get the phone away from my mum. That's okay. There was static on the end, as if Lee was shifting wherever she was. So, can you believe school's actually over? I thought it'd never be done. Now we don't have to do any of that boring stuff and we get to hang out whenever we want. Speaking of hanging out, Lee, can you wait a second? Let me just head to my room.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You got up from your seat at the counter. Luckily the phone was wireless, so you didn't have to worry about any cords tying you down. How old is this game? Like, who even has a wireless phone anymore? A wired phone anymore? Your mum's had a rule about not moving the phone unless a call was in progress, which was why you'd been sat by his cradle waiting for Lee to call. Your mum's gonna be really unfair. You thought that made sense. You didn't like it, but it had to be that way. Oh, it makes sense. Let's not lose the phone around the house. That's like the most annoying thing about wireless phones, though, to be honest. It was nice to keep everything in its proper place. I agree with that. But now that Lee had called, it was okay for you to go upstairs to your bedroom and talk to her. You made your way up the stairs, smiling. After you had arrived, you shut the bedroom door firmly behind you. You took a seat on your bed. Alright, I'm here.
Cool.
Cool. Hey, did you know? The girl down the street from me has her own phone now, a cell phone. She doesn't have to wait for someone else to stop using it or anything. What is the time? Not time. What is the decade this game's set in? Wow, really? Actually, that's how I was when I was a kid. When did I get my first mobile phone? When I was like, I think I was 14. I'm happy I'm 14. The thought of someone having a phone that was all their own seemed unbelievable to you. Right? I wish I had one too, but my parents said I couldn't get my own phone until I'm more grown up. I wish they'd changed their mind. We could call each other every single day and no one would be able to stop us. How great would that be? Really great, but wouldn't I still be using a home phone? Too bad that's so far away. We could even stay up late talking about whatever we want. Lee sighed thoughtfully into the receiver. At least they said I could have it someday. I can't wait. She sighed dramatically. I bet I'm not going to get one until I'm all the way in college. Squeezing the phone between your shoulder and ear, you puffed up your pillows and made yourself more comfy. It was strange to think of a time when normal school would be over and you'd have to choose whether or not to go to a college. School was such a big part of your life right now. Studying became easy to you, though you had tried hard. You worked about as hard as most people and got pretty average results as well. You never tried much, but you still didn't do that bad. You didn't bother in school at all, and your grades reflected that. Everything in your class came easy to you. You worked hard for excellent grades. Let's work hard for our excellent grades, okay? Every A+ you brought home was a result of concentration and diligence. You hoped that you would be able to keep it up through high school. Oh my gosh, when I was in secondary school, it was nothing but tears, man. It was tears because I procrastinated so bad, and then my anxiety like nearly killed me. Okay. You had gotten a bit of a scolding from your mums for not saving any of this home gift for Elizabeth. But you didn't get any real punishment for it. Instead, while you were out... Okay, you felt a lot of pressure to maintain your high grades you had last year. You hoped to do just as well as this year, but it wouldn't be a big deal if they dropped some. You were confident your grades would remain great. You had no plans on getting excellent grades this time around. Listen, okay? The pressure to be number one is big. I'd rather be in the mid-range, you know, like the top 5. There's nothing wrong with being number one. But for my mental health, Let's let it drop some. You had a positive record. It wouldn't be worth it to stress over every mark. Yeah. You tried to sound engaged, but your mind had decided to go back to school despite the season. Lee knew you too well to be fooled.
What's that?
You sound so spacey. What's up? Just thinking about school. Lee groaned. Are you thinking about how we don't have to think about it because it's summer? That's what I'm doing. I'm looking forward to going back. Let's make a petition for more vacation time. Get the overhead going. Come on, let's do scale. Let's think about it. We're in middle school. I don't know what that is in like. I don't know what age group that is because I'm not like American or like from a country that uses middle school and high school. But I think since they're 13, they'd be in like what, year 9 or something. That's still a few years until like they have to go off to college, surely. Why do we have to care about grades at this present moment? Let's petition to make the vacation longer. Yeah, everyone in class would sign it, maybe some of the teachers too. Though I guess school isn't all the way bad. You can do some good things there. You can just do more when school's out. Oh my gosh, how long is this conversation about school? Learning new things can be cool. Gym is pretty great though. It's the easiest way to hang out with people not in the neighborhood. Cafeteria lunches. And my school could be better than they had any right to be. There's nothing good about my school. Let's hang out with people from the neighborhood, who aren't from the neighborhood. If I didn't go to school, I'd never meet anyone new. No one really comes here. Do we have to talk more? Did I just... Learning new things can be cool. Gym's pretty great. Oh yeah, okay. Learning things is cool. I just wish everyone did okay with how they taught the things. What? Did I read that right? I just wish everyone did okay with how they taught the things, not just some people. Why did that sentence sound so weird to me? Me too. Did I read that right? Oh my gosh. I don't care about anything else. That's all. And that's pretty much everything that's good about school. Okay, point taken. Now I decree the topic of school is officially closed. Thank you, Lee. We have to talk about this summer first before we start plotting the rest of our lives. I've got some plans already. Ooh, tell me. I'm gonna visit my cousins. You chuckled, of course. What's something you want to do? The first thing that comes to your head. I want to spend time with people. I got some new art supplies, reading, catch more music, TV. I probably just spend time at the beach. I don't do anything like a water vacation. Let's do art. No, let's do TV. I need to do that too. You leaned back in your bed, settling in as you continue chatting with your friend. Even though it hadn't been that long since you saw her and you'd be seeing her soon, you found plenty to talk about. For one, the events of the day. You sat up straighter. I was with Cove and Derek today and we met a new kid. Like at your neighborhood? Mm-hmm. His parents are visiting family, so it sounds like he'll be around for a little while. I don't know how long. What was he like? Creepy, mean, weird, kind of interesting. He was mean. He kept snapping when all we were trying to do was talk to him. He just kept being rude to everyone. But especially Cove, it was awful. I don't think I want to meet him. You want a boy to stay away before even meeting him? That's an unexpected twist. What are you trying to say? What are we trying to say, should I say? Your cousin was pretty popular with the boys who knew her. She seemed happy enough to have them around until they started to annoy her. Who are you to talk? Cove and Derek are always around. They're both boys, you know. That's true. That's not the same. They're not always around. I'm not the one who invites them to show up on their own. Lee laughed at your response, deeply amused. Even though she couldn't see, you shook your head at her, grinning to yourself. Oh my gosh, here comes Grumpy again. Did you hear how the music changed? There was a stomping noise approaching your room, heralding the arrival of your irritated older sister. She flung the door open, a frown etched on her face.
Come on.
How long are you gonna hog the phone? Glancing at your watch, you realized that your quick call had gone on much longer than anticipated. Elizabeth held out her hand, the other one lodged on the hip. She noticed the realization on your face. Time's up. gotta go. So you seem okay. With a sigh, you say goodbye to Lee. Sorry for being long. So using it. No, get out of my room. That's so rude. I want to finish this phone call anyways. It's long. Lee, I have to go now.
Bye.
Okay, see you soon. Tell Elizabeth and your mums I said hi too. You barely pressed the end call button when Elizabeth whisked the handset from your fingers and began dialing someone new as she strode out of the room. Your mom's voice called from downstairs. Hey, someone seen the phone? I'm using it. With that, she shut your door behind you. Silence was left in the wake. Do you know what? I have siblings in real life, and at least this pretend sibling shut the door. That was one way to end your first day of summer break. Sometime later, it had gotten dark outside and you laid in bed wide awake. Your windows rattled all of a sudden, startling you bad. You flinched, staring over at it with furrowed brows. From your vantage point, you saw only the moon and an open sky. You were scared, confused, annoyed, curious. Why would you be scared or annoyed? Let's be curious. What had caused that noise? What is that mysterious noise? Cocking your head, you sat up and moved closer to the window. You wanted to get to the bottom of this. It had better not be one of these neighborhood kids. To your utter shock, your gaze was met by a pair of familiar ocean blue eyes. Ocean blue? Cove? You squinted. Yep, Cove was right outside your window. Your house was very angular, and some parts stuck out further than others, so it theoretically wouldn't be hard to climb around on. Still, just because somebody could didn't mean you expected it to ever happen. Cove looked awkward and unstable. His feet were braced against a section of the wall that jutted out, his arms flexing with the effort to keep him upright. With difficulty, he waved. Then he wobbled, immediately dropping his hand in alarm. You hardly opened the window. Cove scrambled inside, nearly falling flat on his face, but he was able to right himself in the end. Why is he sneaking into our room? He released a breath once he was steady.
Hey.
Hi, Tiny. Why don't you even say it like that? That's the expression he's giving. What are you doing? What's up, Romeo? This sure is a surprise, but you're always welcome here. Is everything okay? What happened? You're lucky I didn't start screaming. Amazing when dreams have come true. Who would say that? I don't know if we chose wrong or something, but why would we ever say this one? What's up, Romeo? I needed to talk to you and couldn't wait until tomorrow. If I rang the doorbell, I know your mums would have answered and they'd just make me go home. I didn't really want to explain why I was coming over anyways. I don't want to talk about it. Sorry, what? Did I read that right? Did he come over to talk to me about something he didn't want to talk about? Well, besides with you. Okay. I was about to say. Well, besides with you, I mean. But that's why I did that. As unexpected as this was, you were touched. Cole felt like he could tell you what was wrong. I might have tried calling or something, except my dad was on the phone. Cole suddenly looked very cross. Dad, he was talking to my mom. Still is, probably. You raised your eyebrows. Cove had eavesdropped on his parents' phone conversation. You shouldn't have done that. Eavesdropping is bad. Since when? We need to know the gossip. We need to know the tea. I would have done that too. You didn't comment on him eavesdropping. Yeah, we don't care. We'll just find out. There were other things to talk about. Are you going to stay with your mom for a while again? Every year, Cove was sent off to live with his mom for a few weeks. When it happened varied. Sometimes he would go during winter break, but usually he went during summer. Even though it was hard news when you found out he was leaving and you missed seeing him those weeks, you understood. To your surprise, however, he shook his head. That's what I thought too, but no, that's not what they were saying. My dad asked my mom not to have me leave this year. He said she should come stay with us here. You waited for him to continue. He didn't. The conversation abruptly dropped off. You couldn't help but stare at Cove. There was a complicated mix of expressions on his face. I mean, hasn't it been like 5 years since he's lived with his mum? Apart from these, I guess, supposed, like, weeks where he spent time with his mum. Why would his dad invite the mum there? Maybe they're trying to get back together again. Maybe he wants to get back together again. What did your mum say? She told him she'd come. I know she's coming soon, before school starts. Oh, why do we care? Why aren't we happy? You had heard Cove talk about his mum a lot over the years. He'd tell you about past memories or what happened while he was visiting her. Still, it was one thing to hear about someone and another to actually meet them. Very soon you were going to see Cove's mum in person. You were taken aback by the news, so you could only imagine how Cove felt. You looked over at him. He was pacing across your room, his features pained with dread. Before, they'd barely stay in the same room long enough to have lunch. Now we're gonna be all together again, the three of us, after all this time, just for a few weeks. I know I should probably be happy they can talk to each other now. I'm still not. I'm just confused and freaked out, and now I feel really bad for feeling this way. Tiny is so... His fists tightened and his eyes became misty. Oh god, is he gonna cry again? I shouldn't keep getting like this. It's been a long time already and I'm not a little kid. Wait, how old are we right now? We're 13 right now, aren't we? Okay. Though he wouldn't meet your eyes, you knew he was waiting for you to say something. Let's see. There's nothing to feel bad. There's nothing wrong with feeling bad. That is hard to deal with. We can deal with this. I'm sorry, Cove. I know, you know I'm here for you. Yeah, that's a lot. You didn't know what to say. Let's just be neutral. The tense line of Cove's shoulders eased. Thanks. That makes me feel a little better. Like I'm not freaking out for no reason. A momentary silence fell over the two of you. You marveled at how the day started. You had woken up eager for summer vacation, but now things seem so crazy. The mini debacle with Mr. Holden's gift, the newest addition to the neighborhood being so rude, and as if all that wasn't enough, now Cove's mum would be living with Cove and his dad again. Your whole life was kind of like that, it seemed. Complicated and hard and different. Why couldn't things just get better with time? Why are we inserting ourselves like, oh, this has happened to us? Okay, so we met a bully, but we're not dealing with Cove's parents. He is, like... Why are we the drama all of a sudden? Tiny. The sound of your name said quietly pulled you from your thoughts. Cove gazed at you concerned.
Are you okay?
Why are we asking if I'm okay? You're the one who's sad. What? Yeah, I'm okay. You meant it. Yeah, I'm okay. You didn't mean it. No, I'm not. I don't know. Who, me? I'm more worried about you. Wow, things are kind of bad for everyone, huh? Why is it bad for everyone? Who, me? I'm more worried about you. You don't have to forget about yourself for me. I want to listen to you too. We don't have any issues. Oh my days. Cove grinned reassuringly. It was small and delicate, but you knew it was genuine. He had come here conflicted and upset, only to end up worrying about you. He really was a great friend. You know, I think I don't want to talk anymore about this. He looked away, his thin lips. His lips thinning into a line. And rubbed at his arms. But I kind of don't want to look... oh my gosh, I can't read again. But I kind of don't want to go back home either. Could I stay a little longer, just doing something else? Wait, what time is it? He appeared equal parts hopeful and vulnerable. How could you possibly turn him away? You can stay tonight, but we shouldn't make a habit of this. I got a flashlight and some cards. Are you in? Of course, you can all stay here, Cove. Well, he can't all stay here. Let's play games. You tilted your head, waiting patiently for his answer. Cove perked up at your response. A smile appearing on his face. He immediately took a seat on your bed, not afraid to get comfortable in your room. You felt a little better at the sight somehow. You still had a lot of worries, but you were glad he was here. And not just tonight, you were glad he came into your life in the first place. That was a change you'd never want to undo. Who would have thought Cove would mean so much to you? You certainly hadn't in the beginning. You had kept your distance and so had he. Now you considered him to be one of your closest friends. You joined Cove on your bed, taking a seat across from him. He smiled at you again, but you could tell this time it was half-hearted. He was still easy to read. Though he didn't want to talk about his mum and dad, he must be thinking about what happened and what's about to happen. What's about to happen? You smiled gently at him. You put a hand on his shoulder. You patted his back. You hugged him. You took his hand in yours. You nudged him with your foot. Let's nudge him with our foot. Distance, my friend. Distance. You reached over and nudged him with the arch of your foot. You had no idea how to make him feel better, but you were trying. Cove blinked, confused, before he squatted your foot away, but his expression softened into something more natural. Conversation was stilted and broken, often by silence at first. Then both of you were able to get into your usual candor. As your secret hangout session stretched on, you thought that you truly wanted to keep having moments like this with him. You hoped the day would never come when life decided that the two of you would have to part ways, and you knew Cole felt the same. Ooh, is this foreshadowing? You opened your tired eyes, groaning as they adjusted to the bright light that was streaming through your window and warming your brown skin. With a loud yawn, you rolled away from the sunlight and blinked a couple of times, clearing the sleep from your eyes, before realizing with a start that it was actually morning. You couldn't remember even falling asleep. Cove had crept through your window during the night, and the two of you spent time together, trying not to wake your parents. You must have fallen asleep while you were hanging out, but couldn't put a finger on exactly when. You wondered how late Cove had stayed before heading home. You rubbed your face and yawned again, contemplating whether you should get out of bed and get ready for the day, or stay snuggled up for a little while longer, until your gaze landed on an indistinctly recognizable mop of pale green hair, and you bolted upright and gasped in surprise. He stayed the night? He never left. He was still there. In the morning. Cove, you laughed out loud. You jumped out of bed. You froze. Let's laugh out loud, man. He's our friend. He had fallen asleep while sitting on the ground and precariously leaning his head on the side of your mattress. Aw, how cute! With your laugh, Cove's eyes snapped open and his head slipped from its source of support. He didn't stop going down until he smacked right into the floor with a crack. You clamped a hand over your mouth and looked down at him with wide eyes curled up where he had landed rather ungracefully. Ow. You laughed even more. Are you okay? You hurt too much? Shh, Mom's gonna hear us. I don't care about the mom. We're just friends. It's Ma. Cove gave you an unappreciative look, but you couldn't help it. That was too funny. If either of your moms found out Cove had slept here last night, the two of you would be in big trouble. Cove blinked at you a couple of times, his eyes growing in panic as some thought that only he could hear settled in his mind. Oh my god, I fell asleep. You weren't exactly sure what to do as you watched Cove pace your room, looking around frantically. Cove's hands flew to his face, letting out a sigh of relief when he found his glasses right where they were supposed to be. Despite that, he hadn't calmed down completely. The atmosphere was still frazzled. It's gonna be alright, we're in so much trouble, just calm down, settle down before Mom see you, don't say anything. Calm down, dude. You whispered to Cove harshly, trying to keep your voice down. We won't get caught as long as you're quiet. Dude, like, you guys are 13, it doesn't matter. He lives across the street. Just, if no one's awake, just leave. Just leave and go home. Okay. Cove nodded, his shoulders tense, as he fixed you with a firm stare with his turquoise eyes. Letting out a heavy sigh, he ran a hand through his hair in exasperation. He couldn't look at you again as he spoke. I'll see you later. You were confused by how all this had played out, but hoped that was true. Right. Bye, Cove. At that, he glanced at you once more. The expression was placid. In all the panic, he was stopped ever so briefly by the amount of clarity. Thanks, again. You're a good friend, Tiny. He firmly whispered the words so there was no room for doubt. He meant it. But he turned away from you before you had a chance to respond or even fully react. In a matter of seconds, I can't read! Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Okay, in a matter of seconds, he had climbed over your bed and opened the window. A cool breeze rolled off the ocean, fluttering through Cove's hair and filling your room with its salty scent. Why can't we just go through the front door? Cove anxiously stepped out onto the ledge. You wished him luck. You rallied him to keep going. You suggested he sneak out the door instead. You urged him to hurry up. I kind of want to watch him fall. Is that bad? I'm a bad person. Like, if I'm like, keep going, and he falls. Oh, but he already broke an arm. Sneak out the front door. Going out the window might not be the best idea. The thought of him getting hurt was even worse than being caught. Okay. You don't have to go out that way. I can cover you if you use the door. You weren't sure if he heard you or not, but he kept going along, one foot in front of the other with increasing speed until his form disappeared outside. He walked the full length of the ledge before jumping down to the top of the garage, then lowering himself onto the fence. From there, he finally dropped down to the ground. He threw out a thumbs up at his successful climb. He ran off towards his house without stopping, disappearing behind the side of another building. I thought he lived across the street from us. Okay. You had to admit that you were pretty impressed at how doable he made that look. With a little sigh, you reclosed your window, deciding there was nothing more you could do. You hopped off your bed and got ready to head downstairs for the day. You put on your slippers, you stretched yourself in the mirror, you made your bed, you just left. Let's see what we look like. You certainly looked like you had just woken up with your white hair sticking up all over the place. I forgot what my character looked like for a second. I was white hair? Taking a comb from your bedside table, you attempted to fix and smooth down some of the messy strands. You took the stairs, slowly attempting to mask your face into a look of innocence. You were sure that someone would have come into your room if they had heard anything strange, but you couldn't be too careful. You had to play it cool. When you stepped into the living room, Elizabeth was there tapping her finger on the counter. Good morning, Elizabeth. She looked you over immediately, her eyes squinting at the grating.
Why?
Why are you being so weird? You hadn't even done anything. The big sister never missed a beat, unfortunately. You turned and offered a tight smile, her lips pursed together even tighter. Tiny. She's always mad. Why is she always mad? You shrug it off. You climb up. Wouldn't you like to know? Sorry, you excitedly blurted it out. You folded. Dude, shrug it off. I'm not. You spoke so nonchalantly, you almost thought she believed you. But I didn't do anything. You knew better. Further suspicious squinting occurred as she waited for something. But ultimately, she rolled her eyes, and you weren't sure if you were in trouble or not. She didn't seem to care enough to dig any further. Whatever. And then she walked straight out the front door, letting it slam shut behind her, and you let out a brief sigh. Elizabeth went out most days to hang out with her friends from school around town. Today you were extra glad for it, though you were also grateful she hadn't left the house any sooner and risked running into Cove. It looked like you were getting away with that. I don't get it. There was nothing to get away with. Breakfast was eaten in peace and alone. Your mums were both out by the time you had gotten up. They had left you a serving of food from the breakfast they made, hash browns, an omelette, fruit salad, and there were a few sausage links. You took a little bit of everything. You passed on some parts because they weren't things you liked. You passed on some parts because you were trying to avoid meat. Yeah, because I am a vegetarian in real life. Oh wait, I could have chose something else. 1 minute, let me go back. I don't eat eggs either. I don't eat animal products. Okay. Your parents still made most of the food choices in the house, but they've worked on accommodating you since you've started talking about becoming vegan. You added some extra things not from their breakfast to your meal too, but the parts you did have were tasty. The day lazily drifted by at home and eventually your parents returned. You pulled open the fridge again, lingering in the frosty air for a moment or two before grabbing a bottle of ice cold water and taking a long drink. It was a perfect balmy summer afternoon. You had decided to head outdoors and find something to do. You hadn't decided what that something was just yet, but you were sure something would pop up to occupy your time. Can't we just chill? Can't we just relax at home? Can't we just watch TV? Who are we gonna meet? I hope we meet that Jeremy kid again. As you were heading out the front door, you paused for a moment. You hadn't seen Cove since he had left that morning, and you couldn't help but think about what had happened to him. Would it be bad to go over to his house right now or walk in to check in? You stepped out your house, still stuck in an internal debate with yourself when a voice caught your attention.
Hi.
Hi, Tiny. Confused, you looked over to where an unrecognizable woman was waving at you. A friendly friendly smile plastered on her face. You racked your memory for where you might have seen her before. Nothing came to mind. Not your school or from the country club your mums took you to. You had absolutely no idea who this woman was. The woman crossed the road towards you, and you were a little unsure whether you should stay put or go back into the house and lock the door. What's with all the green-haired characters? Oops, I'm sorry. Was that presumptuous? I've heard about you, but you have no idea who I am, do you? Oh, is it Cove's mum? You shook your head and she removed her sunglasses to reveal sparkly ocean blue eyes. All of a sudden, she seemed a little more familiar. My son lives here, and my ex too. Oh, she one of those cool mums. With a bent smile, she lifted her hand to point at the condo across the street from your own house. She was Cove's mum. You didn't know why you hadn't realized sooner, now that you'd gotten a good look at her. She seemed nice, she seemed sort of strange, really young. It made sense. She felt so different to Cove. But she was super pretty. She was really young. It was almost hard to believe she had a 13-year-old kid. No matter your thoughts on her, you still felt taken aback that she had appeared here so suddenly. Cove mentioned she was coming, but you hadn't gotten the impression it would be the very next day. She extended the hand again, this time for you to take, and you studied the manicured fingers in front of your face and the assortment of bracelets that dangled from her wrist. I'm Kyra Priest. You can call me Kyra. Was it Kira? How did you say this name? Is it Kyra? You shook her hand. You reached out and shook her hand, and she shook yours firmly, grinning wide. I'm tiny, but you already know that.
That I do.
That I do. Cove mentioned you to me before. It's nice to officially meet you, Tiny. Cove talked to you about his mum. He hadn't mentioned how he said things about you to her. What's Cove said about me? What are you doing here? I see. We're 13. We are not siding with parents. We're just gonna be polite. She smiled at you fondly, her eyes crinkling at the corners. The sound of a door opening and closing caught both of your attentions, and when you turned towards the sound, it was to find Cove exiting his house, his eyes skimming the ground. See, now if we'd have asked her what he said about us, then she would have been talking and blabbing, and then he would have come, been all embarrassed and probably mad. I think we made the right choice. Okay. Considering just how tall he had grown, you kind of figured his mum also would have been tall, but she was much more on the short side for an adult anyways. Cove's height must have come from his father.
My baby.
There you are. I thought you wanted to keep me standing out here all day. You tried to catch Cove's eye as he walked towards you, but his gaze was firmly fixed on the sidewalk. When he finally crossed the road and looked up, he gave you a pitiful look. After the way he had acted last night, you knew he must be feeling pretty mixed up about this. You tried to wordlessly express that you understood. Cove and I are heading into town to grab something to eat while the snore is at work. Kyra beamed at Cove and ruffled his hair, which only seemed to upset him more. You assumed the snore she was talking about was Mr. Holden. Hey, you should come with us, Tiny. I'd love to get to know you better. Yeah, you should come. There was a pleading in his tone that you couldn't miss. Of course, we'll run it by your parents first, responsibility and all that.
Any hoosies.
It'll give me an excuse to meet them, which I need to do at some point. It's important to be neighborly if I'm going to be roosting on this street for the time being. Any hoosies, let's go. Kyra walked ahead towards your house, and you hung back with Cove, who crinkled his nose as he watched her.
Sorry.
I'm sorry about her, but I really do want you to come. I don't want it to be just the two of us, not right now. You leaned in closer and whispered while checking around for anyone who might hear. What happened? Did your dad know you were gone? Cove shook his head and sighed heavily. Dad was so focused on Mum showing up that he didn't even notice. I thought when I heard them on the phone last night that it was something they were planning for the future. This morning Dad said it was supposed to be a surprise, and I guess I was surprised. She's going to be here all summer. Oh, was surprised to hear that too. Cove sighed again, even heavier. I'll go with you if you really want me to. He smiled, his shoulders relaxing a little in relief. Thanks, that'd be cool. The two of you headed over to where Cove's mom had just knocked on your front door and stood behind her. Mom answered the door after a minute, her eyebrows lifting in surprise at the group she found in front of her. You realized that, like you, she would have no idea that it was Cove's mom who was hanging with you. However, after blinking at the woman a couple of times and looking between her and Cove, the realization seemed to strike on her. Hello there, I'm Pamela.
I see.
I see you've met my kid, Tiny. I'm guessing you've already known Cove for a while. Kara laughed and you and Cove exchanged looks at your parents' weird sense of humor. I'm Kara Priest, Cove's mom. It's so nice to meet you. A head of purple-brown hair caught your eye as Ma popped up behind Mom, squeezing herself in beside her. We have company. I was wondering what all the commotion was. She grinned excitedly at Kyra. The two of them introduced themselves and shook hands.
Hello.
Hi, Tiny. Cove. Cove smiled at Ma shyly. She gestured a hand towards the living room. There's no use hanging around in the doorway. Why don't you come in? I'd love to, but I promised to take my son out to eat. I wouldn't want to hold you up with a surprise visit. Oh, I understand. You're welcome to stop by at any
Of
time.
course.
I'll take you up on that offer when I can. Count on it. Would you mind too much if Tiny went with Cove and I? My treat. We wouldn't be driving, just a quick walk down the road. Sure, that sounds nice.
Have fun.
I hope you will have fun. You gave your mums a look and they smiled at you fondly. You were happy they were letting you go. You were annoyed they agreed just like that. You could tell that Cove really needed the support and you were ready to be there for him.
Marvelous.
Marvelous. Expect us back in an hour or two. We look forward to seeing you again. Take care. Your parents waved goodbye to the three of you as you backed up onto the street. There was a sound of the front door closing behind you. I'm pretty positive I saw some restaurants when I was in the taxi not too far from here. Yeah, it's a tourist town, isn't it? There's a lot of them around. It was kind of strange to see Cove give someone this much attitude. If he wasn't in the mood to be nice, he generally just kept to himself. Kara put a hand on her hips and smiled at herself. Well, you sound like the area expert. Do you have any recommendations for a place nearby? Not really. Kara pouted at him a little and turned to you instead. How about you, Tiny? Want to point me in the right direction? Sure, I have a couple of favorites. You'd been to a lot of places in town and there were a couple that stood out from all the rest. There's a Chinese restaurant that me and my family go to all the time. It's my mom's favorite. There's also a tropical themed place that tries to be sort of fancy. Both sound like a treat. I'll leave it to you to pick for us since Cove is going through the phase over there. He huffed at her and turned his face around. We're not gonna go somewhere like expensive. We're like dressed like casually. Cove doesn't really want to talk to his mom. Let's let the mom decide. I've already tried both. You should be the one to who chooses. You're so polite. Alright, let's hit up the fancy tropical place. I'm intrigued. Will you show us the way? You nodded, taking leave of your little group as Cove and his mom followed behind you. Together, the three of you left the neighborhood behind. The walk was about 15 minutes, and along the way, Kara asked a lot of questions about the area. Cove was quiet most of the time, so you ended up answering her instead. Kara explained that she lived in a large city, and she loved how peaceful and relaxing everything seemed in Sunset Bird. The restaurant was busy as usual, but luckily he was shown right to a small table. Kara lowered herself into the chair while Cove picked the one diagonal to her, not facing her or to her side. It was awkward. Let's see. To start, what would you all like to drink? I'll get an orange soda.
Noted.
Noted. Tiny? Just water. Lemon or anything? There's sugar on the table. Let's have a lemon. Let's be fancy. Sure. Kara placed the order for your drinks, getting a black hot coffee for herself, and it didn't take long before they were brought to the table and set in front of you. You took a long sip of your drink as you looked around the restaurant. Your small group checked over the menus, deciding what to order. The last time you came here, the dish you ordered was amazing. You wanted to order something different this time. Kyra and Cove didn't need any encouragement for this. They were totally focused on the information in front of them. Soon the meals too were ordered and the menus taken away. You glanced at the table service, waiting to figure out what to say. Cove sunk back further into his seat and avoided eye contact. He started to dwindle his thumbs while acting like all this was perfectly normal. His sour feelings today were more unignorable. Instead of asking more open questions, he brushed off Kyra. What? Why can't I read this sentence? Let me try again. Instead of asking more open questions, he brushed off. Kyra had mercy on her son and instead put her focus towards you. Why was that so difficult to read? It's 'cause I didn't read the comma, did I? So, Tiny, what's a few things that you're into? There's gotta be something you do for fun, especially now that you're not buried in school assignments. Ooh, wow, there's lots of options. I like to read, like to watch, have fun, I like to play, hang out with people. I don't want to choose any beach things. I know we live pretty much near the beach, but I don't think it's that fun. I like to watch. No, fun games I like to play. Video games. I don't know much about them. Maybe you can show me sometime. And I hang out with people. Hey, it's nice to have friends and family to spend time with. What are the options? Like to read, watch, beach, sports, music, art, write, study, fashion, Cove. Okay, you didn't say anything else. Thanks. I'm happy to learn more about you. There's so much I hadn't heard. Cove leaves the details out. So what exactly did Cove say about me? Kyra laughed, holding a hand in front of her mouth. I can't tell you that. I didn't come all this way to embarrass my son. Too much. Kids are delicate at this age. She laughed again and you glanced at Cove to see his reaction. He was trying not to pay attention, but you could tell he was uncomfortable. Hoping it would clear some of the tension in the air, you decided to ask Kyra a few questions of your own. Cove hadn't told you much about her, and you were curious to know more about this woman who was such a big part of his life. What exactly do you do for work? Who asked that? Okay. I'm a travel writer for magazines and things. I keep people in the loop on what's worth seeing. It's good work. Wow. What do you like to do? Where do you live normally? Are you in a new relationship right now? Who would ask these two questions? Oh my gosh. So nosy. Where do you live normally? Nevada. Have you ever been there? You shook your head. This is a beautiful place. Check it out if you can. What do you like to do? Spend time with my little boy, of course, and traveling. A real shock, huh? Okay, we don't care about any other questions. It didn't seem to bother her that the conversation dropped off. Cove sipped his soda angrily, slurping up the remaining drink with furrowed brows. He looked ready to run straight out of the restaurant. You weren't sure if coming along had ended up making the lunch better or worse. You made a silly face at him, you smiled at him, gave him a sympathetic look, you flicked his straw wrap at him. Let's try and cheer him up, let's give him a silly face. You stared at Cove until he glanced at you in annoyance, and then you tilted your nose with a finger and poked at your tongue. It took a couple of moments, but finally he cracked a smile, and that made you feel a little lighter inside.
Very cute.
You two seemed really cute together. Cove covered his face with his hands and leaned back in his seat.
Seriously?
Ugh, Mom, why would you say that? Thanks, we are cute. Very. Wait, was that even the right option? Whatever. I've decided now. Your meals were delivered shortly after that, and everything was so delicious. Even Cove enjoyed his
Okay.
food. Alright, now that we're all full and content, can you explain please why you've had a bug up your butt all day? Cove's face scrunched at that. Seriously, baby, what did Mom do to make you this mad? I haven't even been around the full day yet. He gripped the edge of the table, refusing to make eye contact. The words he spoke were barely audible over the din of the restaurant. You could have told me. She leaned forward to not miss anything else, eyebrows raised. Told you what? He finally seemed to find his voice and spoke the thoughts that had been on his mind. Oh my gosh, I really hate it. Don't you hate it? Like when you're like at a friend's house and then the friend like argues with their parents. It's not like the most awkward thing. Okay. That I wasn't going to visit you this year. That you were going to be coming instead. Didn't you invite me? You wanted me here with you? Cove's eyes began to shake and his frustration ebbed. I do want you to be around, but I didn't know it'd be like this. It's not the same, and nobody said anything.
I see.
Her expression grew tense. She threaded her fingers together and placed her hands in front of her on the table. We've both been gifted another Clifford surprise. Referring to that as a Clifford surprise almost caused both you and Cove to crack a smile. You also had no idea his name wasn't just Cliff. Over 5 years, nobody had ever called him Clifford until now. She smoothed her hair out, not letting go of her stern look. The more things change, the more they stay the same. They let out identical sighs, but smiled weakly at one another afterwards.
I'm sorry.
I can go home, Cove. We can still set up a normal trip at my place before the summer ends. Cove's lips tightly closed together. He seriously pondered the option. I think I do want you to stay. I miss it when you're not there. My heart. She reached across the gap, grabbed his face and planted a kiss on his cheek. Cove tried to wriggle away. Mom, stop. I'm sorry. Sweet young men need to be smooched by their parents. If I don't, they'll take away my mom license. Kyra was completely infused by Cove's admission, though a tone of seriousness did return to her voice when the conversation continued. Do you want to talk to your dad too?
No.
Oh wow, he's angry. Cove had snapped the word instantly, but reeled his annoyance back in just as quickly. Maybe later, not today.
It's alright.
I understand, we can shelf it. Thanks, Mom. Thank you for talking to me, little mister. She grinned affectionately at him before turning your way. And thank you, Tiny. Huh? What did I do? It's easy to act like a baby with your mum. It's harder to keep that up with your neighbour watching everything. Especially when you really care about what said neighbour thinks of you. How is she going to out him like that? She winked. Mum? She just ruffled his hair with a laugh and then moved her hand down to tap the end of his nose. And that was how the issue was resolved, at least between Cove and his mum. When the three of you left the restaurant and Kyra had paid the bill, you walked back to your neighborhood slowly. You had eaten so much by that time, you were beginning to feel sleepy. It didn't help that the lunch had happened late and the sun was already beginning to descend from the sky. Okay, so if Mom's eyebrows are normal, Dad's eyebrows are normal, where the heckaroni did Cove get his squiggly eyebrows from? But eventually you reached your street. Someone was there to greet your group upon arrival. Welcome back, family, and Tiny too. Cliff. Dad. The two walked past him into the condo without sparing another word. Despite the summer heat, their shoulders were cold. That's so rude. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. He rubbed the back of his neck with a crooked smile. His eyes were soft and he looked on after them. Maybe I should have asked why they were divorced. Now I'm intrigued. He's so much like his mum, don't you think? You gave a vague nod, not sure what he was expecting you to do. He nodded back far more energetically. Okay, have a nice night, Tiny. You too, Mr. Holden. With that, Cove's dad disappeared to join the others inside. It was your turn to go home now. Summer hadn't started off at all how you imagined it would have, though it turned out to set the tone well. Having Kyra in the neighborhood was a new experience for not only you and Hove, but also both your families, and a dull moment was rarely had. Okay. And I will be seeing you again next time. Also, sorry it was so long. It's taken me a while to edit. Bye for now.